with today's events going on me being targeted, I need to talk about it. I need to get the truth out there. Whether this is only severe mental abuse and imitating, just having energy weapons hit me on my privates, and it's not remote sex trafficking. It is still sexual assault. It is still sexual assault. When you're hitting someone's genitals and then you're incorporating psychological abuse, that is rape. That is rape. That is rape. That is not an opinion. That's the fact. And that is a crime that should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Now, the problem is, being that it's done via means of technology, energy weapons, and all these elephant in the room type of taboo type of subjects that no one wants to talk about or admit they even exist, that's where the problem is. And I think that's where I come in as a pioneer that comes out with all of this evidence and comes out with all of this information for the public to know, understand, and realize and become aware of. There's no way I would have been put through the torture and the abuse that I am to this extent unless this was some kind of important purpose that God put me on. Would I have chosen this for myself? Oh, good God, no. Did you see that vehicle? How weird. I mean, technology gets weirder every day, my friends. With all this advanced technology that is being utilized by these criminals and these people that you are quote unquote saying are elite, and let me break this down for you. Elite are not elite. They're not elite, because to me, elite are leaders. Elite are who have humanity in mind. Elite are people who are leaders who are going to lead this planet into a better place. And the last thing that these people who are, quote, elite are doing is leading this planet into a better place. They're propagating fascist type of politics and control and power to control the masses, which in no way is ever going to benefit a single human on this planet. It is going to do nothing but harm, control, bind, propagate disease, poverty. In no way, shape, or form is this ever going to make this planet a better place. And that's not me speaking out of a place of anger. That's me speaking out of a place of truth that needs to get out there. I was never one of those people who was the conspiracy theorist type of people. I was never into that until I started getting targeted, and then I had to understand what was going on with me, how it was I was being abused and tortured, which took me some time, a couple years to figure out to begin with, because it's done so covertly. Both the surveillance and the technological torture and abuse. Most people takes them years and years and years to figure out. Me, it didn't. I'm a very sensitive girl, I guess you could say, and I figured out a lot. A lot of things I probably wasn't meant to not only figure out for years and probably ever. I was also meant to be dead. They have tried killing me on so many different occasions, as well as physically kidnapping me, sending me overseas to human trafficking and sex trafficking circles and gangs. But when you're a target, you are a target for so many different crimes, it would take hours to explain. It takes hours. Your data on all of your body and all of the torture and human experiments they do on you is sold. You are essentially human trafficked from the minute you become a target. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is. Targeting is human trafficking. And any and all ways that they can profit off of you and your body, they decide you're nothing. You're like a dog. You're like a rat in a lab that they work on. And that's how they view you. They don't even view you as a real human anymore. And that's how you're treated. You're abused physically, psychologically. You're gang stalked. You are stalked, both electronically and physically. You are mentally abused day and night. They work on night and day schemes to make sure that you're triggered with outbursts, so that you're constantly unhappy. They make sure that you are constantly only within their network, so that the only thing that you experience in your life is their fucking shitbag selves and their group. Because let's be honest, these are not good people. These are not people you're going to write home and say, oh, wow, I had an amazing experience and lunch and conversation with this person. That's the last thing you're going to do. What you're going to do is you're going to go home and you're going to be all upset because you've got these people playing these gang-stalking street theaters and following you in cars and intercepting your calls and showing videos up to make you feel less about yourself, that you're fat. They show you fat videos and fat supplements and, you know, all kinds of stuff to make you feel bad about yourself. So when you are incorporated as a target, make sure you understand this torture and this abuse, it encounters on so many deep levels and so many different ways and directions. Not one person, normal person, could comprehend or probably even live through for a couple months. And not only have I survived it all, I've thrived through it. And to be someone who, might be a little bit on the anxious side, might be a little bit on the angry side, who in the world would not be angry about being tortured and abused this way in such a strong, blatant, and obnoxious manner? My life's torn apart. I'm financially sabotaged. My family and friends I'm completely isolated. All of those relationships are destroyed. It is a systematic form of abuse that, unfortunately, is the second highest money-making industry in the world, is gang stalking and human trafficking. That's the problems you're facing, is too many people have too many hands out and are making too much money doing this. And that's why it's getting done and happening the way it is. Now, what I experience is the remote sex trafficking on top of the physical energy weapon abuse. Where besides getting hit in the head night and day at my frontal lobe, my brain, my different body parts, my feet have been deformed. The actual bones from energy weapons have been changed. My face has been hit night and day. My skin, I have an infection that makes me an antenna for these energy weapons, because most targets are. They're antennas for these energy weapons. So we all have this extreme heavy metal toxicity and something that's called Morgellons. Basically, that's the easiest way to describe that, is Morgellons. If you look at our skin, it looks like it's almost creped. That's not dry skin. That is Morgellons. That is an intentional infection that they give you so that you can be physically tortured with these energy weapons and controlled by this technology. Now, on top of it all, if that isn't enough, I've also been subjected to MK Ultra techniques, mind control techniques. I've also experienced, and this hasn't happened in a while, although it's because I was probably speaking about it, where my mother and I would be driving somewhere, we get knocked out, like narcoleptic episodes, where we're knocked out, and then we wake up in the car in a different place than where we started, and not having any idea or memory of how we got there. To say my abuse is extreme is kind of an understatement, and how it's just tolerated and so many people are allowed to get away with this kind of stuff in this world, in this day and age, is barbaric. It's regressed society hundreds of years, hundreds. I mean, we're talking about the largest genocide in the history of the world, which I have said over and over again, but it's the truth. They're killing thousands of millions of people, targeting them like this daily in our country and in countries around the world. It's been brought up at the UN. Even remote sex trafficking has been documented and discussed at the United Nations and on the United Nations website. It's documented and discussed on all kinds of organizations that assist with trying to help people who are needing help and because they're being human trafficked, it's even discussed on those platforms and with those organizations. So it's out there. It's just not in the mainstream where not every Joe, Dick, and Harry understands or knows about it. But that's why it's important for people like myself who are actually experiencing it to come out and bring awareness to it and discuss it.